Sparkle will undoubtedly be an S tier buffer with a strong kit. So before you poo her, let's find out what's the best build, Lightcones and compositions. Sparkle is a unit from the Harmony Path and Quantum Element, being another critical piece for any mono Quantum team. But let me explain how her kit works. In her talent, Red Herring, Sparkle breaks the rules of the game and increases by 2 points the skill point cap, and whenever her team consumes their skill points, everyone's damage will be buffed. This peculiarity of Sparkle combines with her ultimate, the Hero with 1,000 Faces, which restores 4 skill points and increases the damage boost for all her allies, but it will only last for 2 turns. Her skill, Dream Diver, can be used on an ally to increase their crit damage and scales with her own crit damage. It also advances the turn of this ally by 50%. It's not like Bronya, who allows acting right after, but it will help speed up their turn. Finally, her technique, Unreliable Narrator, allows her to avoid opponents and upon entering combat recovers 3 skill points. But her kit goes beyond just the basic traces. The major traces also play an important role. The first major trace is Nocturne, which offers a 15% increase in attack for all allies. But besides that, there is a second buff when these allies are from the Quantum Element. The second is Artificial Flower, which extends the duration of her skill until the beginning of the next turn of the ally, allowing them to still benefit from the buff while using their ultimate. And finally, there is Almanac, which increases the energy received when performing her basic attack. Based on her kit, we can understand what kind of rotation is expected from Sparkle. She has 2 main buffs methods. The first is her skill, which will increase crit damage lasting only 1 turn. Her second buff comes from the combination of her talent and ultimate. To maximize efficiency, you should aim to have her ultimate up as much as possible. Therefore, her rotation will prioritize applying her skill to her main DPS, accelerating energy recovery, and applying her ultimate. Her basic attack and skill will recover the same amount of energy due to her major trace Almanac. Still, your best option is to continuously apply her skill and every 2 turns use the ultimate to recover 4 skill points and extend her buff. The ultimate will ease your life as she will be really skill point positive. In a build without speed and energy recovery rate, you will need 4 actions or turns to obtain enough energy. However, reaching 135 speed and at least energy recovery rate on your link rope, this rotation can be reduced to 3 actions in 2 turns. Now that we know how Sparkle's rotations works, we know what we need to prioritize in her stats to get the most out of Sparkle. Among her main stats, it's necessary to focus on speed on the boots, as it is the primary element for her performance, crit damage on the body piece, since it's the only way to scale her buffs, energy recovery rate on the link rope to improve her rotation and apply her ultimate more consistently, and HP on the planosphere so she can be more resistant, and well, no other stat will help that much. Between her substats, prioritize speed until reaching 135, and after that crit damage will always be important, followed by HP, effect resistance, and defense. Your best strike options will depend on what you need. Usually for buffers, Hacker Space is almost mandatory, as you'll have more speed and an extra buff to your team after using your ultimate. However, you can also combine it with Ward of Withering Snow to obtain damage reduction, or the Longevue Disciple to increase your max HP. As for your ornaments, the best option is undoubtedly the Broken Kill, which not only offers more effect resistance, but also increases the crit damage of your team when reaching 30% effect resistance. Therefore, it would also help scale your skill. Penacony Land of the Dreams is also a valid option, especially if used in a full quantum composition. However, the increase in energy recovery rate is too small to be the only reason for using this type of ornament. Unlike your relics, where it is clear which ones are the best, Lightcones are more nebulous. Between the 3 stars, the best is Smashing Cogs to get a little more energy. However, there are better options among the 4 stars. In the 4 stars, there are 2 that I consider okay and 3 that are great. Planetary Rendezvous and Dance 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 are okay. Planetary Rendezvous can become very useful if you have a full quantum composition, but becoming a costly investment for a very specific scenario. Dance 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 offers turn advancements whenever you use your ultimate, which should be constant if you have your build optimized. However, there are still more impactful options for your team. The 3 great options are Carve the Moon with the Clouds, Dreamville Adventure, and Past and Future. Past and Future can be purchased in the Forgotten Hall store, and when the wearer uses their skill, the next ally taking action, except for the wearer, receives a damage buff for 1 turn. If you can combo this Lightcone with your skill, especially in Superimposition 5, you will have a huge buff. Carve the Moon with the Clouds, which can be obtained by purchasing the Nameless Owner makes it a little bit more difficult to obtain. However, its effect is very good. At the start of the battle and whenever the wearer's turn begins, one of the following effects is randomly applied to the whole team: attack increase, crit damage increase, and energy recovery rate increase. All the effects are extremely impactful, and 2 of them will help scale your kit. Finally, we have Dreamville Adventure that can be acquired in the Pure Fiction and Forgotten Hall store. After the wearer uses a certain type of ability such as basic attack, skill, or ultimate, all allies receive a damage buff for that same type of ability used by the wearer. It is somewhat limiting, but it is a damage buff that is applied to all your allies and very easy to reach Supreme Position 5. Among the 5 stars, there is a clear choice: the Lightcone made for Sparkle. There is no doubt that this is the best option, but if you have orders and are thinking which ones to use with her, avoid the Past Self in the Mirror made for Ramei. As it is focused on break effect, it doesn't fit with Sparkle's kit. Your best option would be But the Battle is Nova made for Bronya, which will offer energy recovery rate and more damage buff. Sparkle is a buffer that scales with crit damage and offers attack percentage, crit damage, damage percentage, skill points, and turn advancement. Based on these characteristics, it is easy to start prioritizing what kind of compositions you perform best in. To make it easier, I'll use a system similar to the last guide. 3 stars will be characters that will benefit greatly from having Sparkle. 2 are characters that are not the best in composition but will receive a lot from her. And 1 star are characters that should not be with Sparkle, although they may have some minimal gain. And I'll focus on DPSs, as they will be the ones affected when adding her to the composition. To begin with, any character that uses damage over time automatically goes to 1 star. Unfortunately, damage over time does not benefit from having critical hits, making Sparkle's skill almost useless. So Black Swan and Kafka will not have a good synergy with Sparkle. And the 2 stars are those who can take advantage from the buffs but don't need the whole kit. For example, Blade won't scale with her attack percentage buff, Clara doesn't need as much skill point, and Dr. Ratio, who needs more debuffs than buffs. And 3 stars are those who will benefit the most. First, Zilla. Sparkle has a similar kit to Bronya, but offers a lot of skill points, which can be very important for Zilla, but tends to be somewhat skill point hungry. In addition to the effect of being together with another Quantum character and offering more attack percentage, besides all of the other buffs. There is also Invictolone and Qingque, who are super skill point hungry and benefit from Sparkle from start to finish. And finally, Jinyu, who isn't as skill point hungry as the others, but will benefit from everything Sparkle can offer. Maybe not as much attack percentage, which she already has in access, but the rest of the kit is really critical. Sparkle is a character very similar to Bronya, but with some unique characteristics that bring strengths and weaknesses that are worth considering. Between her strengths, she's very powerful in a mono-quantum composition, since her traits further increase the attack percentage buff. Sparkle works very well with hyper carries, all of her buffs are critical to them, like crit damage and damage percentage. She's the only unit capable of increasing the maximum skill point cap, and in her ultimate she recovers a lot of skill points, and she's very simple to build and assemble, with little min-max, but her weaknesses are, since she doesn't have a lot of min-maxing, there isn't much room to scale her build. After reaching a certain value in speed and energy recovery rate, she will only scale with crit damage, becoming quite limited. Also, her turn advancement in her skill is not 100%, which ends up being a strength and weakness at the same time. It allows you to take advantage of the skill before starting your next turn, so it allows you to use your ultimate, but it also complicates a little the speed turning of your characters. That's it, guys. Will you pull for Sparkle? What do you think of her? Leave in the comments below, and as always, subscribe.
It's that time again to get busy with it. Best go find your friends.